All right. Aloha and welcome home to another Jedi Night podcast, a space where we shine our light on our community of peacemakers, enlightening the world with love is the solution and unity is the way. I'm your host, Jonah Martin Lyon, and today is 11/11. We happen to be in this field and this 11/11 energy. It also happens to be Veterans Day on this particular one. And so feeling the energy of that in the field as well. And we can talk more about that. But first, I want to just really bring in, and I'm so honored to be sitting right here with Jedi Master Anna Naturalista Allen. And Anna is an amazing pioneer. She is a speaker and expert consultant in the field of regenerative wellness technology, dedicated to the principles embodied in her inspiring quote, "Heal thyself, heal the world." As the creator of Regenerathrive Wellness Solutions, Anna's mission is to make regenerative wellness affordable, attainable, and accessible for everyone who seeks to improve their health and well-being naturally. Indeed, the naturalista you are. And yeah, really beautiful to be and honored to be here. So just invite everybody to just like take a moment and just breathe in the essence of now and that aloha and gratitude for your presence here. Aloha, Anna.
Much aloha. Thank you. So grateful to be here in the Jedi field, and welcome to the roommates field, the field of harmony and love. And my dreams in AI made real. It's one of the fun things we get to do now, and the play on our conversation as well. So it's an honor to be here and discuss some of the Jedi mastery skills that are so potent and necessary in these times.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. And these mastery skills, you in that pioneer of so many of these skills. And one of those skills that I feel always in strong relations with you is this intuition space, and following our guidance and tuning in into, I feel that intuition is like this frequency, Mother Earth frequency, is a really big part of it, tapping into that universal field. And so, yeah, just share a little bit more around like this intuition experience in class and curriculum, and much of the stuff you put together and what you're bringing and offering.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want to play off the point that you mentioned real quick about the earth energy. This is one of my adornment pieces. So we'll talk about how to properly and alchemically adorn your body in an energetic way. We'll talk about that as well, so that it actually enhances your intuition and aligns you to the earth energy. And in Damanhur, a sacred community in northern Italy where I've lived and spent a lot of time, brought many people there. They have this jewelry device that they call Selfica. It's actually an intelligence that they harness with connecting with the earth energies through the compilation of different coppers and crystals and glass and alchemic formulas and tools and things. So it's this particular band that they make. It's called Selfica band. Helps to really hold your field, your intuitive energy bubble, our aura or our toroidal field, as we say in science and in physics, and you can really feel your energy clearer and get your messages quicker. So you can then again, follow your own intuition. And that's a big part of what I feel is one of the most important skills necessary for leadership. Yes, in general, we need leadership in companies, in government, in communities, right? And we all need to lead our life. We need to lead our own self, right? This is part of what's running rampant out there with the coaches who coach a coach, the coachy coach of everyone coaching is
Right.
I kind of
Yeah.
got the thing about the coaches. It cracks me up. And in that essence of going from that extreme to the extreme of be your own guru, well, yes, that is the goal. And until then, we still need guides, we still need tools, we need to have those skill sets that actually bring us to that awareness of the Jedi, of being able to be that self-mastered being. And intuition is the absolute most necessary and primary tool to get you there, and to make sure that you're following every footstep of your sacred path in your timeline and your aligned synchronicities. And so it's vitally important that everyone understands what their dominant intuition is, which is why we have the first class, psychic skills, is really harnessing in and figuring out which of the 6 different types of intuition language is your most dominant intuition. And then we really expand and strengthen that muscle. And while doing so, it tends to always click on all the others as well. And then those really work together beautifully, and steps up to then the advanced intuition courses, where then we're doing psychic skills games with, remote viewing and healing and all kinds of fun things around the world. So it's one of, again, if you look at leadership and these type of energetic skill sets and alchemy, it is some of the top also agencies on the planet that are teaching intuition as the very first course of entry for anyone that comes into very high level leadership and or skill sets of being able to guide yourself.
Love it. Yeah, please. I mean, talk about resonance, right? Like I was feeling the Schumann resonance and just the resonant field of the earth. Yeah, is this place is in our electromagnetic and frequencies. And the name Schumann, what came off of my head was like without our shoes. Yeah, the man without before the shoes, the soul of the person, our soul's adventure and journey, and to follow that, is a deep source of intuitive guidance. Is really so much of what I'm listening in, and those levels of what you're sharing. How do we activate those codes and those connections within ourselves to tap into that universal field? And the gamification, part, right? And the playing in that too. And that's something, and our process, you talking about the, air bending and the earth bending and being an earth guardian in this Jedi Academy, and really a lead to that, right? So when people want to come in and learn more about their internal and external relationship with the environment, for say, food being thy medicine, and learning more about what we eat, what we put into our bodies, how that affects our internal environment and our relationship to our external environment, all is so much related to that. And so the health and wellness, around all of that. And so this is why, like, for me, just regeneration is like a primary directive right now in our community, and locally, globally, as a whole of humanity. And so, you being in this Jedi game we're playing together right now as the steward for regeneration, is just it's key. I mean, you are the perfect fit, yeah, for that seat, and to counsel that and be a consultant and a lead person to go to for this information, yeah, our wisdom. So thank you for all your work in that. Speaking of that, you want to share a little bit more about the grids, this Regina Thrive movement, this grid that you've architectured, and designed to support humanity and the planet.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. And and thank you for the weaving also of intuition as it weaves into the earth and the elements, because this isn't as I say on my own talk show, this isn't the Anna show. You know,
Mm.
It is the nature show. This is bringing us back to natural law. This is, as I also learned when I crossed over and flatlined for 2.5 minutes and received, I mean, it took me about 6 years to unpack that amount of information.
Mm.
And one of the things that were really, really potent at that time for me was that there is no proprietary information in the universe. So these formulas, these equations, these laws of physics are here. It's just the matter of us reinterpreting them in the view and the context of, right, like I have naturalista vision. So it's like the view of nature and seeing everything from that place. So as you have also with the Jedi Academy grid, that in our context and what I teach with all the nature-based systems, that's the harmonic ecosystem formula that is known as the grid, that is based off of, and based on rather, the principles of the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, and the 4 elements, with the 5th element of ether or space-time in the center. And then we have the sacred inner sanctum that we call the above, below, within, and throughout, my friends, not without. That means without. So you don't have it. Throughout is the proper actual wording of that, right? So it's with above, below, within, throughout is the entire harmonic ecosystem formula that I'll be sharing a bit of. And then, of course, there's an entire course that goes with implementing that into your life, into your business, right? That's part of the Jedi Academy teachings as well, with all of the different masterful archetypes that represent those grid placements. And as you see, even in the Star Wars example and version of that same grid in the Jedi Council, where Anakin, as a boy, is standing in the center of the seats and the council of all of the different beings, and they are all representing a different star system, a different, not just color or race. They're like an entire planetary system, of beings that they represent. And so that's also how we are each created, and that's part of our sacred architecture. And so we apply that then also again to nature at the simplest forms, as we break it down to the number 5. 5 we see everywhere, and that is again in the 5 elements, and in our 5 fingers and toes, and many other, the star body system, and all of that. The Regena Thrive system and formula is the biomimicry of every element, then appropriates to, in the larger context of the formula, a solution for every industry in society. So that means we can rebuild and or build from scratch, from seed, an entire city, an entire living system in the planet, all with regenerative infrastructure, technology, hardware, software systems, governance systems, all of it, you name it. We're already doing it. We, meaning the people, the 17 plus, maybe more, obviously, many more tribal nations and island nations and sovereign nations, and you name it, all around the world. But specifically the 17 that I know I have worked with myself in depth, and also the many indigenous tribes and so forth, they're all similarly working with these grid biomimicry systems. So the Regena Thrive grid, then applied to the earth and to wellness, is what I'm going to be sharing specifically, because the more that we can simplify and organize things in a way that our internal cellular intelligence automatically recognizes. Again, the 5 is a sacred number that our innate intelligence goes, oh, I know how to work with that. I know how to handle that, right? It's right in the grasp of my own fingers of the 5 that, oh, those 5 things, yes. we remember 5 as the easiest number to remember of digits and numbers too. So that's where, again, we're going to be working with that grid and then applying it to all of the different elemental priorities of how to optimize our different 5 body systems, right? Our time forces and energetic values of communication, the different areas of emotional intelligence. So all of those different systems relate to what I refer to as the grid, which is, again, the biomimicry formulas that we intrinsically know, we see, and we recognize everywhere, yet we're going to actually bring meaning, appropriation, and a skill set that brings benefit to your life by utilizing those systems in the proper way.
Oh, yeah, right. You brought up the Star Wars, the pop, their culture aspect of that and people's resonance to that, right? And the grid or is the force, yeah, is essentially, is what we're speaking about. We talk about the force of nature, right? This where we get into this elemental relationship, I like the force is a frequency of relativity, co-creating enlightenment as an acronym. I speak about the force, right? And so, this grid, this force that we're able to tune into and really get clarity on how we're working, right? Exactly. Bring it in. That's how we're working right there, right? The star child, right, in the middle and getting the wisdom, from a galactic council and federation. And, this is, it's working stuff that's been here for us to remember, our indigenuity, right? And there it is right there, like indigenuity, the ingenuity of being an indigenous being, connected with the earth and the elements. It's not a race, ethnicity, gender, color of skin type of issue. This is something we're all indigenous. Yeah, we all come from these different places, these 4 seasons and these 4 directions, these elements. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was as you were saying that, I was like, we just have to show it. Like, there you go.
Right.
The basic formula of creation, my loves, and it's everywhere, right? That's why it's not mine. It was just I'm here to translate and make things simple. And so the beauty of it, right? You have it there behind you as well, right? And it's other formation and symbology. So it's the that's part of why and how it makes so much sense for us to come together and to work together and to offer these the teachings in this way. It's like, okay, this is how the ancient wisdom can now be applied to modern solutions, and this is what we need most, is now to apply these principles and laws and formulas and systems that will then awaken that intrinsic spark of solutionist within each person and that individual path that it needs to fit, right? I feel like we have all of these open receptors of needs, of receptivity that to be fulfilled in the world. And we have so much to do, you guys. We have a lot to work to do now. Like, come on, all hands on deck, y'all, right? And there's so much work to be done. We don't even have a grasp of how big, I mean, it's a big project, right? So let's go. And one of the things that I like to say, and as part of the intuition as well, it's one of the questions I get asked a lot about is anger. Like, how do we transmute this anger and being upset? And I said, honey, that's it. That is your ticket. Ride that anger wave, ride that into and let it transmute into a solution, into an innovation, right? That's which triggers you awake is yours to take. Like, grab that, right? It's like, what, and the other one, what is it gonna take to trigger you awake? right? Like,
Yeah.
come on, how much poking and prodding and like shaking is it going to take for some people to really get out of bed and do something? We have a lot to do here, folks. And if you don't know what to do, then, you know, start by cleaning up your own environment. Right. And then from there, like apply these skill sets that we all have that we'll all infuse you with. And that will, you know, start giving you your own why. That's the most important thing too, that we learn in applying the grid to the who, what, when, where, how, what, why formula is you have to start with the why, right? That's the golden mean. Even Simon Sinek, another masterful Jedi out here in the world of self-mastery, right? And he talks about the why is the center of the golden circle formula. And that's part of, yes, we may not have no one really does other than you, have the answer to your question of why and what is mine to do. That comes from within, yet by taking these principles and formulas and applying them to your life and your beliefs and your triggers, that will reveal itself through you. That will be translated through you applying the sacredness of the tools to your own mastery. That's the perfection of the original quote that I came up with, or I translated when I was 8 years old, healing from the first time my back was broken, and I was barely 10 years old, being asked to speak and in front of a bunch of adults in a big professional auditorium, and it was because I said, "Heal thyself, heal the world." And that
Mm.
was because the realization that I knew I couldn't run out there and, you know, be a part of Save the World Day and the you know, telethon I wanted to volunteer for when I was, you know, 9 and recovering from the injury and all of that, because I had to heal myself first. And so
Mm.
that became the very first quote and realization in the order of operations of that a lot of people are putting the cart before the horse and trying to save the world when their life is a hot mess. Honey, back up.
Speaking of, can you back up to the harmonic ecos, the last thing that you just had that you shared on the screen, the harmonic ecosystem?
You want to bring the grid back up? Yes,
Yeah, bring the grid right back up.
you got it.
Yeah, because like Alberti, well, I believe it's your left and my right in this situation.
I'll try to
Right?
flip it.
The self, not the other way. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Just as
yeah.
you put it, the self, the family, the community, humanity, earth, and all life. Like that's in order. Right. It's there's an interconnectedness of that, but there is also an order to, you know, how we can operate and be able to actually alchemize and transform and, you know, create and co-create with the field, right? Is our self has, we got to be in alignment, we got to be in awareness of the field, right? And then ourselves first. So I love how you place that. You know, I think it's really important in a, you know, we talk self mastery, and in this place of the why, the you, right? Your you, it all starts with the why. Those words start with why, you
Yes.
know, getting the why into it. And if you don't know why, another part of just to add in is like we have guides, we have mentors, we have teachers, we have coaches, right? And the coachy coach, we have people within our community, you know, as we all are, that can support that guidance and, you know, helping to find that why, right? If we're in that place and we're still not quite sure what that is, sometimes, you know, where we end up doing that why, and we have the feedback of, wow, that was an incredible, amazing experience. So then the intuition means follow that, right? We'll get these intuitive guidelines and be like, follow that, follow your gut. You know, we have multiple brains, right? This brain, our gut, our heart, you know, we have three different basically brains in our own, you know, physical ship that we're on in this soul's journey to tune into. And so, you know, that heart field is a big part of the why. What do we love to do? And to provide a guiding system for our students, our community, our people coming in and participating to choose direction, right? And to have freedom in the playfulness of choosing that direction, which is a very different way of education, right? It's a different way of moving through an education or a current, and past educational system. So, how what comes up for me is question is, with how are we regenerating education? Yeah, to your wisdom and expertise and your translation.
Well, the groups that I'm working with, we are upgrading education such that it is flipping the dopamine addiction systems inside out and bringing us back into proper balance of adrenaline, serotonin, and the more happy and balanced, of course, with dopamine and all the other neurochemicals, yet a more balanced, healthy neurocognitive and body processing system, because that's something that has been part of the enforced conditioning of mandatory information regurgitation type systems that were really not well, I guess maybe effective in certain parameters, but not productive in the ways of really enhancing human optimism and human optimal potential, right? And creativity and expression and evolution, really. And so that's where we're now seeing a lot of really beautiful educations and school systems implementing and bringing in, even from the simplest form of gardens, right? A lot of public schools and especially private schools obviously have been doing that for a long time, such as Montessori and Waldorf and others. That's been a long time integration. Yet now you'll see it in public schools where they have garden systems, right? So there's just that alone is a huge bit for kids in the city to see bugs and how plants grow, right? Most of them think they come from cans and plastic bags. So it's really good that we actually have even that as a little spark all the way up to the indigenous coming into college campuses and teaching about regenerative farming from ancient principles, right? We now have that happening as well. I helped to start that when we had the Center for Living in Harmony that was a regenerative education farm here in Valley Center years ago. Now we have much more of that education coming in and being implemented in communities that are offering like regenerative agriculture retreats, right? So there's a whole network that's being set up just for people who are looking for that education. And so what I'm doing with RegenaThrive and what we have created with the RegenaThrive entire network is that whole, again, access to the system, plug in. We're everywhere. All of us, Jedis and agents of really living in harmony with nature. We're here, we're everywhere, and we're infusing all of these natural solutions into the modern culture, and we can now. And not only do we have the technology available, we also have a lot more access to different types of funding mechanisms, which are, again, part of the regenerative economy coming in. People look at crypto as some kind of like divergent, weird, crazy thing. Hey, it's another form of abundance, you guys. Check it out. You can buy stuff if you play with it, if you get into it, if you are part of that network, then within that network, it's very prolific and you can do a lot of really cool things. So it's like that's just an expansion of the prophecies showing us how much abundance has grown just outside of the fiat system, right? Now we have all of these other types of currencies, and now we have time banking as well. I was a part of helping to create the #1 time bank in the world a few years ago. Now that's been integrated into some other financial systems. So what we're doing also with education in the RegenaThrive model is implementing some of those time banking systems with more of a reciprocal exchange of that person's particular value. So that's the next bit I feel that's really coming into play with AI, with technology, with community systems changing, and especially with monetary systems changing so much. And being in finance in my career since well, my entire life, especially having a broker dealer in my 20s, it's like I've seen the waves and the changes of how conventional finance has really evolved. And now here we're seeing in 2024, one of the biggest, electoral changes that affect currencies around the world, right? So currencies are already starting to be revaluated, and so watching that ripple effect and seeing the ROI, the ripples of intention, and interplay with that energy is definitely going to have some ripple effects of many currency systems.
Mm. I love that. I love the ROI shift right there, ripples of intention. Um, you know,
And
it's
impact, yes.
yeah, an impact, exactly, right? It's like the impact's always there. Sometimes we don't see it, and currency, right? See the current, the ripple in the current, right? So what we're dropping into this vast, digital ocean of technology, this experience that we're in right now is very expansive and rapid because we're dropping a lot of things into the water, with more consistency. You know, uh, you spoke a lot about the, I would say, network and offerings within the network, specifically in this place of community, something that we, to rewind it again just a little bit and go back into this place of family with you. I feel that one of the things we were looking at with retreats is this family portion of that culture of family and how important that is into why it comes before even into the place of of community. That's our first awareness of a sense of community, something outside of ourself is our family, and that comes before we go into a vaster expansion of community thinking. So how do you feel, with these solutions, this grid work, the what are some processes that you're bringing forth to help to regenerate and heal the fabric of our families?
Hmm. Thank you. Big one, good one. Fabric of our families. Well, I just had made a proposal with the San Diego Big Brothers and Big Sisters group here, and I was at their annual beautiful fundraiser event a couple of weeks ago, actually. And the proposal I call the Mamas and Papas, and
Mm,
this is a because it is.
love it. Yes.
you know like that's what I call my grandparents, mama and papa. And this is one of the most, and yeah, I just like started getting emotional, so I might cry. But this is one of the most important reweavings of our elderly and our children, because our children are growing up in a generation where their parents need help. Okay. And these kids don't realize how much help their parents need because their parents aren't around, and their parents are in other states or other countries, or their parents are also working, or they're ill, or they're not on the planet anymore, or whatever the case is that we have about a 2 to 3 generation family just hurt right here that really can no longer handle another band-aid, and we need love solutions interwoven immediately. And that's what Mamas and Papas does, is an after-school program for
Mm,
children whose parents aren't home, who don't have parents or family or grandparents to love them or help them finish their homework, or just ask them how their day was, or help them from, recover from a situation that happened at school or whatever. Like, they need an adult to talk to, right? And that's where they can go to, whether it's it's one of our senior centers that with Regenera Thrive Wellness, we have a senior wellness program. We work with senior wellness communities and 55 plus communities to bring in turnkey healing centers and turnkey regenerative wellness communities. So that's where I then said, okay, next level up is we integrate the children and the elderly, because that is the missing link right now. And the thing that I learned in the business dynamics of some organizations is because of the way that they're set up, they can't come that they can't have the the funding to extend to create something new like that. So it was up to a third party, me, someone who was triggered by the loss and lack of love, and who saw how easy that connection could possibly be made. I'm standing here in the middle, literally feeling like there's, I'm watching two like terrible situations of hurt and sadness that could easily be healed by bringing them together.
Mm,
And that's what bringing the children that need adults and adults who need family and children, that's a number one request in working with seniors and senior communities that I hear, is that I just wish I could have some kids around me. I wish I could read books to some children. Can you bring kids over? Can we go to the schools? Is there any way we can, just where are the children? I mean, come on, that's what they're here for, right? And so it's a love game is all it is. And the more love that we can weave and create solutions with, then the better we'll find solutions and just automatically heal the family wound that has been really, really stretched out over the generations, especially in our country.
mm. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I just feel the passion, and compassion both for it. And glad we went back to do some collective healing, and expressing. Yeah, it's so important right now. That we create these avenues, these bridges, right? We build these bridges, generational bridges right now, and it is seeing that need, seeing those gaps, and then filling in those gaps, with a way, right? So that's a beautiful way, like the mamas and the papas. It's I think about, like as a papa myself, and the uh wanting to have more connection, and I'm very connected with my daughter, but the physical connection, like we're in a different physical place, and I think about what that changes, how that changes relationship, how I can fill in that gap, how I can bridge that physical gap right now, right? And one of those ways is like what we're doing. We have technology that we can actually have facial recognition in there, right? We can see each other, we can see our facial expressions, our body, all the different levels of communication, along with the tone of voice. It's a more vast way of communicating than what we've had in the past. So as you said, we have so much of the solutions are already present for us. It's implementation, it's deployment, it's really moving past the deception, negativity, and apathy in our DNA, right? Or rather, like coming into what's the evolved DNA that we are, right? Come up with your own acronym DNA as a homework assignment. What does DNA mean to me?
Mhm.
My daughter asked me, what does time mean to me? Just yesterday. And I said, I think we are time. We talk about space time. It's like we are time and space as humans, in that, and just as beings alive. And this is like we're here for a particular amount of time, that dash from the time we were born to the time that we're, no longer in these bodies. And it's just like, what do we do with that time? Yeah. So in your time here, what's the legacy that you see is, you know, uh, the legacy of Naturalista of Hannah Allen and the impact it's had on humanity and the earth and all life.
Simply that right there, making sure, I mean, like, bringing natural law into natural life, it's like that is all of my taglines. Everything is related to solutions for harmony for the highest good of all, like bringing humanity to harmony with nature. That's it. Humanity is meant to thrive in harmony with nature. And the more that we connect with the natural law and natural formula systems, the faster we will thrive and the more we will be able to enjoy our lives and our bodies and each other and our communities optimally and joyfully and prosperously, right? And that's part of like the funny thing with Spock and Star Trek now, right? Live long and prosper, right?
I love it, right?
Yeah. And one of my uncles growing up, he was like, man, that guy was like, you never knew if he was happy or not, but he was always just content. Like, just good. Like, nobody could rock his boat. Like, yeah, dude. And that's part of like also being in that alignment, right? It's like he's so dialed into his harmony that no one's shaking him. Part of what Yogananda teaches in one of his most famous quotes is that environment is stronger than will until you can change until you have the will to change your environment, in which case that means you can change your environment in two ways. One, instill the energy that you choose and you want and make your environment what you decided to be, or get out and leave that environment and take yourself to another one, right? So that's like, well, how do you change your environment? Otherwise, you're just going to be the victim of your environment, which is 90+% of the population, just getting pounded on by the environment of social media, by the environment of the conventional world, by the environment of nonstop manipulative marketing and media. Like, okay, start with stop it. Start with
Right.
don't, unplug from the noise and infuse the goodness, right? Command, call in, use the force. And this is how you do it. You use the formula to proclaim, and this is how I operate with nature in my way, in my frequency, and my archetype. And that intuition of your divine alignment will take you to exactly that. How you get to live long and prosper. That means your optimal health and wealth and joy and friends and love and family and all the things. It's like people ask me that all the time. It's like even people that that seem to be jealous, right? I get things. Oh, you're either intimidating or inspiring. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, pick one. It's your perspective, like I prefer you be inspired, right? The people that are intimidated is because this is what it takes. It's work to get to the life where things are synchronistically aligned, where magical seeming things happen. Why is it magic? No, it's science. It's the science. It's the math of the universe. I'm aligned with natural law. Those of us who are aligned with natural law have things by natural order that come into synchronistic, direction with us. That is the force. That's how we use it. Call it what you want, but it's, the law of physics. If you read, anything from Napoleon Hill or any of the other great masters about even manifestation or wealth creation, right? They talk about visualization and all of that. Yet if you get to even higher levels of visualization and you get into high priestess trainings, which I've had in the Isis priestess schools, you get into the high alchemy trainings, which I've had with the White Knights of the Solomon Order, and then you get into the other high trainings of the indigenous, you get back to, again, the elements of nature, right? The simplistic elements of creation are right here. 5-year-olds understand this sometimes faster than 50-year-olds. It's
Yeah.
amazing. They're like, oh, I can design my whole life like out of this. Great, cool. How do I start? Oh, right now? Great, awesome. I'm going to do this next week, and then my whole life's going to be like this. I'm going to plan out my school. Here's my new life map. Kids done in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Powerful,
You
right?
know, that's
But
how.
generational, too, right? Is the other part. There's so much generational work happening in all of these systems designs. There's an intention. Yeah, there's an ROI happening in these designs. That is, you know, multi-generational, and to have that 7 generational indigenous, you know, mind state, right? And mindset of consciousness, awareness of what it is that we're creating, and we're creating it within the um, infinite boundaries, right, of nature. Because there's natural order in nature, so there's boundaries, but there's an infinite amount of those, of uh, what can manifest within the beyond borders of nature. And so, I love that. And I think that there's such a place for it in all these generations, from the 5-year-old, to the 55-year-old, and to be a gap, or to build that bridge between those, is what we're working on, on a consistent basis, and seeing that need in society, in humanity. So again, just love everything, all the work you've put in, all of the initiations, bringing that to the field right now, of that, it is work, it's studying, it's, you know paying, being in attention, like, what are we bringing our attention to, and what are we putting in the mind food, right? How are we feeding the mind? What are we feeding the body? What are we feeding the mind? And essentially, what we're how the soul is evolving and growing, what we're bringing to the soul. So choose wisely, in that, and uh, in marketing, we have a whole market in this Jedi Academy and Jedi Alliance, and these are all of our partners, our collaborators, and allies. There'll be markets available for us to get our hands on these technologies and these resources, yeah, and to work with that, and then to start off first with ourself, and the environment, infrastructure, and ourself, is where we begin. And so, yeah, what we talked about: legacy, network, your impact, a lot of the offerings in that, with regeneration is being, I'd say, like a main theme of this winter inaugural class. This is a time where we actually let natural laws, when nature is regenerating, is actually in winter time, from all the other seasons of putting out a lot of work. And so it makes sense for us to be in that place together, right now, in a regenerative space, and to do that collectively for the collective.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a beautiful time also for all of those that are also in receiving mode to come and snuggle up with us in the Jedi Den of wintertime, and really also infuse the collaborative wisdom. It's a powerful time, I feel, for all of us right now in this. Also, what is happening astrologically, that if I can go into that for a hot minute, it's really potent as well, in that Pluto is leaving the our constellation for basically the rest of our our generational lifetimes, next like 200 plus years. So that means the Aquarian age as locked in, and like the gates of the Aquarian timeline have really now, it like the party, the inaugural party, if you will, for the Aquarian age is February 22nd. So that time frame, 222, is
Mm.
right right? When it's like this, about, and we will likely see it, for example, the patent offices just might release, 5,000 patents that had been in withholding before that all of a sudden get released. That's part of the Aquarian age of technology being revealed, of a lot of other, stories, right, and books and things of emotional and expressive solutions and technology will be revealed, as well as the awakening. So the mass awakening is happening, and that's between now and February is the time to prepare for that. It's the time to really bring in. Now, this is another part of the teachings that I share and how I live my life. Is there's a lot of the, well, first I'll talk about and mention an example of what's very popular that I don't do, which is focusing on what to get rid of. Oh, let's, this no longer serves me. Oh, we need to shed this and get rid of that and whatever else, and make a like a trash list, basically. And then you're focusing on what's in the dumpster constantly. And I don't do that. This is not how the ancients even practice basic alchemy, let alone masterful alchemy, which is only focus on what you want, on the energy, the vibration, the frequency, the feeling, the vision that you feel, and that will bring in the good, the manifestation. And so instead of wallowing in the cocooning or the wintry hibernating of what was, or the past, or like letting go of the old, let's, especially infusing into this 1111 portal of light gateway and coming into this Aquarian age, focus on only that which we want, which we choose, which we love, to create the dream come true reality that we came here for, and particularly focus on the niche that is yours, the niche that only you can do. Right? That's like the best business advice that I can ever give anybody. Then always everyone's asking me, what's the niche business industry out there? Yeah, honey, that's you. You are the niche. You're the number one product we need in the world right now, babe. Right?
Oh,
So let's focus on that.
talk about bringing this into the closing remarks right there. Just organically and naturally was, that's a call to action, and this is much of where we're at right now, is this call to action. So for those of you watching this right now, and that will be watching this, go to Jedi.Academy. We'll be rolling out this website. You'll be able to sign up in order to receive updated newsletters as progress rolls out, schedule consultation with our master teachers, and to start receiving the updates and links to get ready to go, and to come in and to bring your niche, bring your expertise, bring your aloha, bring what it is, your purpose, into it, and or find your purpose while being in it with us. So we're going to be in it for the next 4 months, because this will be rolled out as starting day on December 21st, our orientation day, and then December 23rd will be first day of classes, and we'll be running all the way through the autumn or spring equinox. And so it's a seasonal academy. This is our inaugural class, and this is one of our amazing Jedi masters in the space of regeneration and the focus on health and wellness in all of humanity. So thank you so much for joining today, being here. Yeah, much love. Hallelujah to you. Yeah.
Hallelujah. Thank you. And many blessings to everyone. I'll explain bliss over bless next time. Yes. Blessings, everyone.
Wordsmithing.
Wordsmithing,
Praise.
dropping. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you all in the Jedi Academy. And thank you, Brother Jedi Jonah, for having me in this beautiful portal today.
Yeah. Happy 11/11.
Indeed. Happy 11/11. Much aloha. Mahalo.
Peace.